Hey guys, I'll continue with Euclid forest. So that's the second type in Tasmania. The first one was cool temperate rainforest. Yep, we done that. Wet eucalypt forest. I'll separate wet eucalypts and dry eucalypts, but this video only explain wet eucalypt forest. Okay, the condition is obviously a bit wetter than dry area, so this is still quite wet area. Okay, and they still have the understories. I'll draw that. I'm covering that area, the wet eucalypt forest, and I'll just summarize that part. Okay, it's really good writing, so I'll just draw some of the diagram based on that. Make sure you cover that as well. Probably I'll draw that. I'll use that. Okay. When you look at it, I'll just explain that part. Wet eucalypt forest is usually in that bit wetter area. You can find it and still have canopy. So let's say 100% is sunlight coming in, and these trees are eucalyptus trees. Yep. The canopy is not all closed. It still has a bit of gaps there. Okay. Unlike cool temperate rainforest was closed, but in this case still 100% direct sunlight come in. Couldn't go, but around 30 to 40%, around 30 to 40%, bit less than half of sunlight still able to penetrate to inside. Okay, and then the characteristics of wet eucalypt forest, because of its wet, we still have enough trees, small shrubs or trees exist in understory. We call understory species. Okay, so there are enough small shrubs and trees exist understories. Okay, so the canopy part, eucalyptus, and another small eucalyptus or grasses covered understory here. Therefore, the 30 to 40% of sunlight penetrated only reach to ground 1 to 5%. Only reach 1 to 5. So really small amount of light actually able to reach ground from the sunlight. However, seeds stays ground, isn't it? But they actually require 10 to 30% of full sunlight for surviving and germinate. And germinate as well. So that bit of gap, isn't it? 1 to 5% and 10 to 30%. So it's a normal circumstance. They just die there. Seedlings not able to germinate and survive. Isn't it? Yeah. So it is different to gap phase one. I mean, there are already enough gaps from canopy, but because of the understories, you can't really reach that sunlight here. I mean, not even 10 to 30%, only 1 to 5%. Yep. So for regeneration, for wet eucalypt forest, we need disturbance. It has to be disturbed, so some of trees gone and open up that sunlight coming in. Or I'll use direct sunlight. They actually need strong direct sunlight to get in here. So that disturbance example is fire. This wet eucalypt forest evolved using this fire, which was disturbance. However, because through this disturbance, they're able to reach or get that more direct sunlight. Okay, in order to survive, the eucalypts in wet forest require fire to complete their regeneration cycle. summarize that part. Make sure you read that and continue summarize here. Wildfires in wet forest much less frequent. You must notice frequency. So wet eucalypt forest fire behavior is much less. Why do you think it's much less? Because this is wet. The frequency is much less. You must know these characteristics. It's wet, so in a small fire, not gonna really burn those things. Okay. Due to moist fuel, the fuel is timber here, forest, trees, and damp condition. Okay, and wet condition. It's wet. Therefore, much less fire, which means they start to build up of large volume of fuel, which means the more trees there, because of the frequency of the fire is less, so the fuel is building up. Also, the leaves go down. They start to build up humus and pits. Layers is important. So canopy, eucalypt trees, and shrubs there, understories. All the leaves go down, and it's wet condition, isn't it? And stays and stays and years. So that we call humus and pits. Usually soil-like dead leaves or trees. It becomes like a soil. Really, you go to wet eucalypt forest, you can actually touch that ground. It's not actually soil. It's soil-like leaves. It's a thick layers of leaves that build up too. Not just and it became one of the most important fuel, and it burns like crazy. Very intense burning when humus and pits start to burn. It is full of carbon. It's just the leftover carbons. Yeah. And it's nutrient rich as well. Okay, so because of the wet condition, the frequency is much less. Therefore, they build up large amount of fuel. You must know this process, and including humus and pits. Yeah. And when they have fire, became really intense, much intense burn or fire. It's not frequent, however, because of the building up all this process, it became much intense fire when fire happens. How intense burning, I use that. I used it here. The fire becomes more intense, and it burns large area as well. Yep, very strong, intense fire, and get rid of all the things. It's intense, therefore it actually burns lots of trees, not just small trees. It burns small or big, most of trees there. So when I look at these natural generation pathway for Tasmanian wet eucalypt forest, so that's normal forest, and then it's not that frequent. Okay, it's not that frequent, but when things happen, it became very intense fire, and it burns not just small trees, it burns many big trees as well. Okay, and then when new generation come up, so you can see, so still the mother trees, very few mother or grandmother trees still survive, and then all the offsprings start to come up same time. So the characteristics of wet eucalypt forest, I can also say, even aged trees. That's strongly related with its fire pattern here, because it's less frequent, therefore it's very intense and it burns most of it. Yeah, and new generation come up same time, they compete and grow, and it become another rainforest. Another wet eucalypt forest. So when you go wet eucalypt forest, it became quite moist. Yep, it is less open compared to dry eucalypt forest. Yep, you can imagine that, bit wet, damp down there, and then I can see humus and quite a bit of understory species, and also when you look at the canopies, it's quite even aged. Okay, so that make sure you understand that characteristics of wet eucalypt forest and fire pattern and relate with their regeneration. Does it make sense? Yep. So hopefully you understand that one. What do they say here is 150 to 400 years for mixed forest. When they say mixed forest, this is mixture of wet eucalypts and cool temperate rainforest. So first 20 to 80 years, it is purely wet eucalypts. That when they say 20 to 80 years, which means after fire, when the fire happened and then after 20 to 80 years, it was wet area, it's not going to be dry, okay? It is already wet condition, you can change it, and then they actually wet eucalypt forest exist. So they grows. Yeah. Can you see that? And after that, they start to have cool temperate rainforest components in these understories. So cool temperate rainforest trees start to grow in these understory species as an understory species. Okay, and then when time goes, they dominate more, and at the end, usually the gum trees life is not more than 350 years. So after that, after 350 years or 300 to 350 years, the gum tree is gone. Therefore, what's only left? Growing understory, which is rainforest. Okay, therefore, between 150 to 400 years, it becomes mixture of wet eucalypt forest in some parts and cool temperate rainforest component together. Therefore, we call mixed forest. And after that, when these mother trees gone, all gone, because its life is 350 years, and after that, so around 400 years after that, you only see pure cool temperate rainforest. But it takes around 400 years without fire. That is why we don't really see cool temperate rainforest anymore in Tasmania. I mean, new patch, because it's really unlikely, 400 years no fire, unless it's really, really wet area. That's why more frequent fire in Tasmania, we lose more cool temperate rainforest. Okay, can you relate that? Actually, that's also linked with this one. Changes in high rainfall area, therefore, either it's going to be from 0 to around 80 years, 0 to 80. So fire happened, and then from 0 to 80, that is wet eucalypt forest. And after that, you can read that mixed forest, they start to have more cool rainfall substance here. And then after 400 years, it became rainforest. That's what I explained it previously. You must know. So quite often they ask this question, and that question is also related to one of those exam questions at the back. So make sure you go through those exam questions. Okay. You're not gonna see dry eucalypt forest here. It's only wet eucalypt and rainforest. Okay. Because the condition is very wet. Okay. Next video, I'll go through dry eucalypt forest. Thank you.